I wrote a song called If You Haven't Been There and Back, Shut the Fuck Up.
You know what?
And you sent it to all your family members or no?
That's the name of the song, but it basically is just like,
Yeah.
I'm done taking advice from people that haven't done what I'm doing.
Well, tell me when you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Rock and roll.
Okay.
Welcome back to another episode of the Second Win podcast. I'm trying not to say it loud.
Second win.
Where we talk about everything from basketball to alcohol. We are Dave, Eric, Dan, John, and the sexy and talented and beautiful Bobby Choy.
And I've said it before, more sexy than talented.
Yeah, I feel like you put a lot of emphasis.
I mean, it's close.
I feel like you put a lot of emphasis on all the other amazing traits that Bobby has, but not enough on sexy.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah, obviously, he's talented.
Sexy.
Sexy.
Well, his sexy ass has his movie in the number 2 spot in Naver right now.
Ooh, congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes. Music and reality.
Yep.
Shoot
Right
it
on.
with the hot fire.
So how's everyone? What's up?
Doing pretty good.
We are good. We are good. We're back here recording live. It's all good.
Yeah. No.
It's been a good week, man.
Be in the studio. The NBA started.
And we have a new little position.
Is this, and John, you're an expert at switching positions. Do you think that this is how we're going to keep it, or just keep changing it to keep things interesting? What do you think?
I like changing things around. I like variety.
All right.
Variety is,
You like
it's
the
not-
variety? The variety is the spice of
Variety is
life.
good. Especially when I was younger.
You don't want the bliss to come too soon.
So you have to change. Exactly.
Okay.
What is it? Wow, wow.
So have you guys been watching the NBA? Because I watched yesterday. I was really interested in Cole Anthony, because Greg Anthony is our Sunbay from our he went to University of Portland before he went to UNLV.
Oh wow! I had no idea.
Briefly, and so
1 year?
and we also liked him just from back in the Rain Rebel days, and so I was impressed with Cole Anthony, but all the hype's on LaMelo Ball, and so I was kind of disappointed yesterday. But I guess he
They both scored like 18, right? When they had their little matchup, right?
yesterday Cole Anthony had like 19 and LaMelo had like 4. He was terrible. He was god awful.
That's what they were saying. They were saying his ceiling's the penthouse, but his low
was
is like
god-awful
below
yesterday.
the
He didn't
basement.
shoot well like today either. He was 7 for 17 today.
So is he gonna need to fix that little like low hanging jumper?
Why do they all shoot bad?
All the balls have like.
No, I think like the middle one actually
middle one has a good
pretty
form.
decent jump shot,
He just
Yeah.
can't play basketball.
but he's just
There's
for whatever.
something wrong.
The other guys, I think their basketball IQ is higher. Like they look like they actually know basketball. Like they can pass, they see the game. They're more creative. They have more potential. And I think like the middle one is probably the least athletic.
No, but I feel like if he keeps working on his shot and getting better, he can just like be a Seth Curry or a JJ Redick.
I mean, you look at like Lonzo Ball. Like his jump shots come a long way, and obviously
Yeah.
his confidence is like following.
Yeah.
He looks like he's shooting the ball like he did when he was in college. I mean, jump shooting and like form stuff you can fix. You can't fix your athleticism or your height or.
Well, wait. You're talking about who could be like Seth Curry or
The middle kid.
LiAngelo Ball.
Oh,
One
you
that
know
just
what?
he got cut from the Pistons.
Yeah, there-
I haven't watched him play, so I can't really.
I mean, I think he's from what I've seen in workouts and stuff. He looks like pretty average.
Yeah, he doesn't look like an NBA guy. He looks like maybe he could play overseas. Maybe at LA Fitness. Maybe I'd pick him up. I don't know.
Yeah, I
No,
think
but
he's
his
just.
shots. I feel like his shot's really good.
His shot's good, but now we're at the NBA, so
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. It's hard to say really good.
Well,
yeah, it's really good for the high school videos that we
And
saw.
also,
him on.
when you become a volume shooter.
Well, also, I mean, you're comparing it to his brothers.
Yeah.
Then yeah, his jump shot looks perfect.
Yeah.
But like compared to like good NBA shooters or good
Yeah.
shooters, like compared to like JJ Redick shot or some of the other
Yeah,
guys,
yeah,
it's not in the same like class.
And you realize like if those guys have to keep shooting like day in and day out, like 6, 7, 8 shots a day, let's say JJ Redick or whatever, right? And they're all threes. And at the end of a season, that's several hundred shots. And to have a 40%, a percentage at the end of that, that's what's crazy.
But I will say this though, the NBA these days, you can't just make it if all you can do is shoot. Like back in the day, you had Craig Hodges specialists. Now it's like the centers can shoot. Anthony Davis shoots a great percentage. He shoots, everyone's shooting threes now. So to make it just as a small shooter and that's all you do, there's no Steve Kerr's. I mean, JJ Redick's like very much the exception to the rule. Most of the guys can do a whole bunch of stuff and shoot. So
I think you hit it on the head right there. You can't be a small shooter. If you're 7'3" and all you can do is shoot, you have a chance to make it in league because of your height and everything. Right?
Yeah.
But you can't just be an average sized guy who can shoot anymore.
It's funny how they don't talk about like the bigs, his ability to post up and stuff. They don't talk about that anymore.
That position doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, that's why it's so funny how a long time ago a whole team used to be built around a center that can post up.
It wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't. Even
Tim
15
Duncan.
years ago.
Yeah.
Even in the early 2000s, it was like that.
Yeah. But then you look at like guys in the league now that are holdovers from that era. You have like an Andre Drummond, a Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
And like if they can't, like you see Andre Drummond's trying to like extend his range and shoot now too.
Yeah.
Even JaVale McGee, like these guys that like were typically back to the basket, like that's all they could do.
Yeah.
They don't really have a place in the league anymore.
Even Blake Griffin, I mean, he wasn't a post-up player, but you can see him shooting a lot more threes now.
Well, he's almost like a point guard now. Like he runs the team. He gets like close to 10 assists a game. Like
I think when he was with the Clippers, I think that he was what he could actually do as far as what was in his bag in his skill set. I don't think he was able to show all that because he had Chris Paul. You don't need to bring the ball, but you got Chris Paul. But like in Detroit, like he can do more and he can actually show. Because I think he's like a really like skilled player.
But now he's at Phoenix.
Paul, right?
Oh,
No,
Chris
Blake.
Paul's at Phoenix.
No,
Blake got traded?
Blake's in no.
in
Chris
Detroit.
Paul's in Phoenix. Blake Griffin's
Wait,
in
then
Detroit.
that's a rumor. I think he might go to Phoenix.
No, they would never send Blake to Phoenix because Chris Paul and Blake Griffin do not get along. Or they don't like.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one.
Oh, let me see.
But I don't know. There's so much stuff going on. I wouldn't be surprised. Like nothing surprised me these days.
Burying the hatchet. I mean, you saw Kyrie like hugging with all his old teammates they didn't like for
Kyrie's
so
a
long.
fucking idiot, man.
That guy's a
I do not
basketball
like-
savant.
Oh yeah. Just everything outside of the basketball court, I think he's an idiot. Okay, real quick. Just answer this quick. Ready? Your finals. Who's gonna play in the finals and who's gonna win? Go.
Finals? I think it's LA and Milwaukee.
Lakers, Brooklyn. Lakers are gonna win.
Wow, you think Milwaukee's gonna make it? I go Miami and Lakers, and I think.
Oh, you want a
And
rematch?
I think the Lakers are gonna win, but I think it's gonna be better.
Oh, you got a rematch.
Yeah,
going.
I think the Lakers are better, but I think Miami could upset.
What about you, Dave?
Lakers. If Harden goes to Toronto or Boston, I'd say one of those two guys would be in the finals.
Who wins though?
So Lakers, Boston, or Lakers, Toronto?
Toronto, yeah.
Okay, and who wins it?
Who wins it? Lakers.
Lakers. So Lakers are gonna.
Lakers are they got so much better. Well, also they lost leadership. I don't know. I feel like they've really added some key spots.
Yeah, I think they got better.
I think
Marcus All.
I think it's Milwaukee's year, man. I think Milwaukee's gonna pull through. I think Giannis
Fear the
and
deer.
they figured it out. If they see the Lakers in the finals, I think they're gonna like officially take over, and I think this will be.
I'm hurt. You took.
Am I the only one who thinks the Lakers got worse? It seems like
they got better.
You think they got better? You think they got better?
got
E, what do you think?
I don't know.
It's kind of tough, right?
It's kind of tough to say because like they had they had a good team. They tried to upgrade. I think it might just they just were trying to mess with the sauce.
And not only personnel, but like AD's. I feel like AD's going to be even better
Yeah.
if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. It's like the bubble was a short, condensed thing where in a short amount of time they could do it. But AD, I think he's just I don't know.
Now,
Where's that?
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
like if AD gets hurt though, because he'll be here 20 games or something like that, most likely. Marcus All can fill those shoes pretty nicely.
All right, let's move on. Oh man,
Nice timing on the buzzer.
yeah, that was a
Good job.
Good buzzer. What are we
maybe
moving on
that's his
to?
full-time job. Hey, you know what? Let's go back to let's do some personal stories. Was there ever a time when you guys something happened or whatever happened when you wanted to quit basketball, when you wanted to quit acting, or when you wanted to just quit and give up?
Wow.
And tell me about that situation because, yeah.
Dave, you look like you got some. You
Me?
said, wow.
Yeah. I mean, when I was 39, it was sort of like
Was that the breaking point?
it was. It's pre-40. I had some luck in acting, mid-20s to 32, but for 8 years, really just 10 years of just grinding, not making any money, just barely getting by, bartending here and there. Well, actually, for 1 year I bartended.
This was in LA, right?
Yeah. But then before that, just not. And then it's like you're getting pressure from not so much my family. Like I guess I was getting, my mom was supporting. She's like, you can do it. My dad was like, what are you going to do? A girlfriend of mine at the time was like, well, what are you going to do? And she was like, why don't you start, you like making furniture and stuff? And I was like, you know how much somebody makes furniture makes? I mean, like, what am I going to do? I don't have any background and anything else to do. It's like you're 39 years old. You've pretty much worked in front of the camera for whatever, and then you find yourself like, fuck, what am I gonna do?
So why did you decide to? That's when. So
I lost that girlfriend.
So it was the girlfriend.
Yeah, I had to say no to that.
Good thing you kicked her to the curb. Okay.
I mean, but then it's like.
So it was more pressure from the outside, not like more what you wanted to do.
Well, you got pressure from the outside, and then people are saying, well, how long are you going to do this for? And then there's pressure on the inside because now you're feeling like the choices that you made leading up to this point, the only point this way, right? So then you're like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, okay, well, maybe another couple of years, And I'll try to figure something out. So I actually went a few years before that. I was feeling the pressure, so I decided, okay, if I really like this in front of the camera stuff, let me go behind the camera and figure if I like the business. Do I like the business? So I produced something called Broke as a Joke. That made me broke. It actually did make me broke. At 37, I sold my blazer. Right? I sold my blazer to make that Broke as a Joke. And that was but it was a great opportunity because at the end of the day, that show Broke as a Joke ended up in the short film festival, Asiana Short Film Festival here in Seoul. They flew me and the director up for free, put us up as I was here to show that web series that we turned into. It was a TV pilot turned web series turned short film that we came over here. And then I was here and I thought, let me just call Jung Taewon Tepunim from like way back.
Taewon Entertainment.
Taewon Entertainment, because we worked together and like a couple years ago on Iris 1. He gave me a shot to play a guest star role for 3 episodes. And he said, oh, David, you here? I was like, yeah. And then he said, okay, I'm going to call you back. He calls me back. He says, listen, Henny dropped out. There's a role here for the lead bad guy in Iris 2. Why don't you come on? Let's have a talk. And then that changed my life right there. Then I started working. I got my first character. I did 12 or 13 episodes. First character arc. So at this point, from 22 years old to 39, so 17 years, I got my first break. Like as far as
a significant, a meaty character.
Other than the very first role I got, which was a huge break. Between that was been just bullshit, but good bullshit, Yeah. And then, so I stayed in the game. I'm still somehow in the game too now. It's up and down. Like you're only as good as your last job, and then people forget about you after a year. So it's like it's always up and down. So that's my thing. 39 years old.
For sure.
What about you guys? Has there been a time when you wanted to quit?
I think anytime you have these unconventional jobs that it's very contract. It's not like there's no pension involved. There's no, you work like where we're from in Seattle. Everyone goes to Boeing. You work at Boeing. You get your pension at 60, and then you're good. And you have stability, right? Anytime you're in these jobs like professional sports, acting, music, all these things, you're always under the gun. I think Eric's had way more ups and downs than I did. I was basically, I played basketball to get a scholarship to go to college to get a job at Boeing, right? So, because, how was I going to pay for college? And then, there were times when I wanted to quit then. And then when I came to Korea, I really was unhappy with the whole system of playing in this very basketball factory where there's not a lot of freedom and stuff. And so I wanted to quit, but then I kept getting better. You just get better over time, and then the contracts kept getting better. And so it's like I finally was able to quit on my own terms. I still had time left on my contract. Finally when it just seemed to make sense. But yeah, I wanted to quit like a lot. I think Eric coming to Korea. If Eric wouldn't have came to Korea,
you think you would have gone back?
I would have quit. I would have gone back and just had gone and worked at a bank or something.
So,
probably.
Right.
So you kept him here. Awesome.
No, I mean, like honestly, like we kind of had this idea to go and play, just to kind of see what it would do. We got college paid for, which was the big thing, because we didn't have a way to go to college. So we were like, well, we like basketball, pretty good at it. We can probably get, like I always had a dream. I wanted to play pro, but it just seemed so far away. I remember when like my first idea was like, I'm gonna go to college, I'll play about a year, then I'll declare early for the NBA draft. That was like what I actually thought, And
just like that easy.
I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, everyone does it, right?
Yeah.
You just play, and then they see you, and all of a sudden you're a lottery pick, and then you're making millions driving around in Bentleys. I was like, that is my path, Then you get to college and I redshirted, you know, and then it was just a rude awakening. I was like, wow, this is not what.
There's other good basketball players.
I was like, wait, you mean there's other guys that can play basketball better than me? That are taller, that are going to different schools, that are more famous than the one I'm going to?
Yeah.
And I didn't think. I was like, how many players went pro at the University of Portland? Like, nobody, you know? But like this shit I didn't understand, you know? So I was thinking I'm going to go pro. And then, Greg Anthony. You know, and then I got injured and that was tough. And I coming back and then, you know, going through like the minor leagues of basketball, just grinding out, making a $500 check here, getting a $500 check and having it bounce, you know, playing the D League where you're not making shit, you know, like going all over. It's like, it's constantly right in front of you. You're literally one decision because any day you could hang it up. But then you're like, let me play one more tournament, you know, you keep on playing. And then eventually like, you know, I'm playing around, my checking accounts in the red. I don't got like money at all.
So the breakdown, if you were that time, what year was that? So would you say that was your breakdown?
No, honestly, like I got a big break when I played for the Globetrotters. I got a big break when I played for them. You know?
So that was huge.
Yeah, I mean it was huge because it was like one of the first times I actually made money playing basketball.
Massive.
You know, because I was like when I went pro, quote unquote, you know, I was making about $3,000 a month, and I thought I was a millionaire.
Were you the first Asian player to play in the Harlem Globetrotters?
No. There was a Chinese guy that came before me.
Okay.
But I was the first Korean.
Was he? Well, I thought he was Mongolian. He was Chinese?
Yeah, I mean, he was like...
Super tall guy.
Super tall. Meng Batir. He played... yeah. But yeah, like...
But were you going to quit anytime? I'm sorry.
At that time, it was like this. Like, I had injuries. You know, I broke my foot and everything. And then, honestly, I was at home and I'm looking at this. And, you know, me and my brother were talking a lot about this. And it was like, man, like, it's been good. You know, I've seen a lot of the world. But I'm looking at the situation where my roommate from college was now a fireman, right? And he was like, yo.
And he was a
The
baller.
peers. That's when you start seeing your peers.
Yeah.
Because I was home, you know,
Getting
recovering
ducks
from
in
like
a row.
surgery and stuff. And like, I was like, man, you know what? Like, he was like, yo, being a fireman is just like being a ball player, man. You got your team, you hang out, you play video games.
Work out all day.
I was like, that don't sound bad. And then you basically work 6 days a month, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, that sounds all right. And he was loving it, you know? And I was like, while I was doing my rehab, like I started testing to become a fireman. And so like I did all the testing and I was ready, and I was like ready to give up basketball. And I was like going down that path. And then right when I was getting ready to go, I got a call from Korea. And then Dan was over there and everything like that. And we were trying to like figure out how I could, you know, do what he did, because he came before and got naturalized and came over here. But it wasn't easy. It was really, really difficult for him. And it wasn't going to be easier, you know, because we didn't really know the process.
Right.
So I was like, well, I mean, I got this guaranteed thing. I basically become a fireman, you know, or I could go and take this job. And they called me to come to Korea. And then,
If it doesn't work out, you can be a fireman or whatever.
yeah, I figured. So I was like, I'll take this chance. And I came over here and
That was like 2004.
2000,
Eight, nine-ish,
that was like
no?
2007,
2007. So that was your point when you decided that.
I mean, my breaking point, I would say like 3 or 4 years into Korea, and that's when you know Eric came and my life just got so much better. I think it was probably like 2009 or something like that. Yeah,
It was like right before I came. And then like basically like because Dan was here and then people had kind of heard about me, like I came as a replacement that year, you know, and I wasn't, it was like a long shot. Because
You were an import, right? Replacement
I was
import?
an import
Okay.
at that time. You know, but like if I wouldn't got that opportunity to come to Korea, and like that was a lot of part because Dan was already there. You know, they were already like, he was making news by being the first half Korean player to be in the league and all this stuff.
Amazing.
And like, so because of that, like it drew some attention to me because I wasn't like a name. I wasn't really like good. I didn't have a resume where like, oh, this guy's been killing the EuroLeague or he's got an NBA, like nothing, you know?
Right.
So like I was a no-name guy.
But so
Okay, yeah.
sounds like the common denominator here is like resilience, opportunity.
Just it's like,
Equals opportunity, right? Or plus opportunity equals right.
Like yours too, especially. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just,
you gotta like, I mean, it's a tough thing. Like you were saying, it's like in this job where like you don't know where the next contract's gonna come. Because I remember there were a lot of summers just sitting back calling agents, hey man, it's getting late. What's up? You heard anything? Hey, a couple more. Like, well, we're sending your tapes out. We're talking this, and you hear a lot of just shit. You know, I don't know how many agents I went through. You couldn't fucking trust any of them. You know. Then the ones that were good, that had good clients, like they spent all the time with the good clients. You know.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I'm sitting at home. All my friends are leaving to go back overseas. You know, they're getting good jobs now. And then, like at the end of it, you get a call and you're like, "Hey, I got a team in Brazil that'll pay you $2,000 a month." I'm like, "Dude, I'll take it, whatever." You know. So you're calling anybody anywhere to get you any
that's
job.
the hustle right
you
there.
know?
That is hustling.
So you know, you going overseas and like you're playing pro, But then everyone thinks that you're like, everyone thinks that you're like making $1 million like LeBron James, but you're playing pro and you're basically making less than you would be if you were greeting at Walmart.
It's crazy. Like the movie The Wrestler, I feel like we could parallel that with like basketball players, because all you have is like your mind, your body, and you have to keep that healthy and in tune, and you can't miss any time to make the bread. It's amazing.
What about you? What about you, Bobby? Tell me about a time when you wanted to give up.
Maybe like 2-3 times a week.
Let's keep it real.
But give me a specific time. Let's say one of the big ones in your life.
The biggest, probably like smack in the middle of editing my film.
Oh wow! So let's talk about that. Yeah, Music and Reality. Yeah. Check it out in the theaters.
Probably because I didn't know what I was doing. And I don't know what brought me to this place. I'm not a film editor. I'm not in film, So, but I had so much on the line. Like I had my family's investment. I took time off making music, which was my first passion. And I was just like, what the hell am I doing? This is going to seem like a dead end for me. And that's when my health completely deteriorated. I got gout. I was depressed.
And how long was this editing process?
About a year.
Wow. Of you sitting there in the room editing yourself, right?
Edit. I had to watch every single YouTube video on editing.
YouTube University.
Now you're like a master.
Right to you.
I couldn't sleep. I would be editing for like 20 hours a day. And then I couldn't sleep even though I was exhausted, so I used to down bottles of soju. And then it was the only way I could. That's why I eventually got gout, because I just let everything accelerated in terms of, I don't know, like genes. My mom has gout, and so I guess it was just eventually going to come. So I just.
So what kept you going during those times?
I finally got through it.
How did you get through it?
I have a lot of friends that are in filmmaking.
Yeah.
So I had to lean on them. Like I had to send them It was painstaking. I had to send them every single draft. People got really annoyed with me, actually. They're just like, and so, but, I mean, that was hard, but I got through it and finally finished it. Then that was like 3 years ago. And I've been still writing that kind of like question mark has always been there until, this week. My movie's coming out in theaters in Korea. Nationwide.
That's huge. That's huge.
Go check it out. And it was on that TV show. It was something 여행, right? 영화 여행 or something.
Something. 출발
영화 something.
Yeah. A really old school.
Like a lot of people watch that.
So let me ask you this then, because I know that from my experience, because there are these literally every day when you're looking at your bank account and you're looking at the situation in front of you, you're just like, man, maybe this doesn't make sense. And those thoughts are always there, right? And whether or not you're like, you know what, I'm going to go this other way and just kind of pogi all this stuff. There's always someone that's going to kind of be like, nah, man, you're doing the right thing, man. And that support, even if it's one voice. For me, it was always my brother. My brother was always like, yo, try go a little bit more. When I got hurt in college, and I was having problems, I was drinking all the time. He was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he pulled me out of it and put me back on the right path, Yeah. Was there a voice that was just constantly supportive? Because you need that when you're going through shit like this,
Sure. I mean, it's family and stuff, but every little thing, I started to kind of think that maybe the universe has kind of got my back. I remember seeing this thing on just a 30-second commercial for Martin Scorsese on Masterclass, and he says something about when you're editing your film, if you don't completely doubt yourself and think you're basically a piece of shit, you're not doing the right thing, or something like that. And it just made. At the moment, that's how
yes,
that's tough love, man.
I am a piece of shit.
This guy, Martin Scorsese, has some sort of this guy makes amazing films. But that's the advice he's putting out, right? This guy is not complaining and can get through, the same thing he just pointed out that I've been going through. Maybe I'm not special. Maybe I gotta stick with it. and go through. Yeah, I got a lot of people like that in my life actually. So,
So follow-up question: did you watch the masterclass or did you just watch the ad?
I just
I think I've seen that masterclass, right? I think I've seen Scorsese's. Thanks to Dave.
I watched that. Yeah,
I've seen Scorsese's masterclass.
It's good.
I use Dave's account for masterclass.
I think like the family thing is really a tricky thing because when I first came out to Korea, I think my dad and my mom weren't really too big on it. Eric was like, "Go, man, go, quit your job, just go, be free." And then I was like, "Okay." And then I came out here, and then it was like a struggle, right? And then my Korean family were like, "Go home. We all want to go to America. What the fuck are you doing in Korea?" And then so I think Eric, like, you know. And I know, like, your mom is super supportive of your career. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories that you've told me as well. And I think the family is kind of an interesting because family, no matter if they tell you to do it or not do it, they have your best interests at heart. So my dad was probably like, giving up your American citizenship? Like, I don't know. Like, you know, he was probably worried about that.
Super
and Eric was like, why not go? And then it just depends. You have to filter in what voice do you listen to, right? And so I think definitely when I was younger, I was listening to Eric. Eric's like, "Dude, I think you can fly. Jump off the roof." And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Just go." You know what I mean? And I think you just choose which, and you know, and then they have the cautionary family member, and so I think that's really interesting because, you know, the family, they all want what's best for you in but whatever they think is best for you might be different depending on which family member.
Yeah, definitely, especially if they don't know anything about the industry that you're in.
Yeah, yeah.
Like for me, it's just my brothers don't know shit about like entertainment. And especially my parents. So it's like every advice, it's great, but it's like I couldn't really listen to anything that they said. So it's just like,
right.
Sorry, man, I just got to do this on my own.
it
And
reminds me after all of this, like at some point during this whole journey, I wrote a song called "If You Haven't Been There and Back, Shut the Fuck Up."
you know what?
And you sent it to all your family members or no?
That's the name of the song, but it basically is just like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm done taking advice from people that haven't done what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's really important to get advice from people you can
Who've been through a struggle that's similar.
that know exactly what you're going through. So
100%.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I remember our next door neighbor at that, like, our next door neighbor, we grew up there, like, they're basically like a second mother and father to us when we were younger because our parents were working and, you know, the mom would make us food. She's from Hawaii. Like, great family. Love you, the Ambrosius.
The Ambrosius.
I remember Mr. D told us one time we'd come back from overseas and, you know, I had like maybe $500 in my pocket. He was like, "I don't understand what you guys are doing." Like, he was like, "I worked for wages my whole life, you know?" He's like, "I understand that. I want to be supportive because I love you guys." But he's like, "I don't understand what you guys are doing." But he's like, "If you guys are happy, then I'm good." But he's like, "I don't know." I don't, like, and it was like nice because like it was probably the most honest, like, you know.
No, there's a Korean quote. Yeah, I'll
You
talk
can't
about
miss
it.
it. Okay.
Yeah. There's a Korean quote that I just thought of. It says, "수많은 꿈이 꺾인다. 현실의 벽이 아니라 주변의 충고 때문에." Right? So a lot of dreams are broken, not because of the reality, the wall of reality that's in front of you, but because of the people around you who warn you or who advise you. Advice of the people around you.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. I guess for me, it's all about, dude, there been, I can totally relate to the two or three times a week. Yeah, I always think about quitting but I always had this internal kind of North Star because I really didn't have anyone around me. None of my family members, none of my friends. Like, to give an example of, like, when I look at my friends or even my brothers, they're all super successful in all the other things they do. I have a chat room with my UCLA friends. One's a partner at a law firm. One's an orthopedic surgeon. One's a brain surgeon. These are my friends in my, like, a chat room that we whatever have. They're all like crazy in that normal way. And I'm the weird artist, right? So I've always had to just kind of just shut the fuck up and like shut them out and then just kind of internally. But there's this one first I'll start with the story. I guess one of the biggest times was when I was 22. It was when I was at my second college, when I was at UCLA. I kept trying to get into the film school at UCLA, but I just couldn't get in. I got rejected. And the second time, I think it was early January, maybe in 2001. I think it was 2001, early January. I went to the ATM to pull out $20, and I didn't have $20. So I sat on the curb. I might have cried, but that was one of my lowest points. And I was like, fuck, what the fuck am I going to do?
You had $17.88 because you had to pull out at least 20.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
sorry,
I know.
sorry.
It was somewhere.
Okay,
but
sorry.
it wasn't 20. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So I might have been in the red though. But I was sitting there. What the hell am I going to do?
Man.
For me, it was that one time. Like for me, a lot of times it's been like prayer or whatever it is, right? But that was the one time when I just said, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to quit? Am I going to whatever, right? But there was this peace though, and for me, it was after I prayed. There was this slight peace, and that was the time when I what do you call it? I applied to film school at SC, and after that, there were little things, just morsels. Little things that kind of kept me in, but it's always been those little things that kept me, okay, I guess I am doing the right thing. It's just kind of just take that little next thing instead of getting one big fucking chunk of bread. It's always been, hey, here you go, motherfucker, here.
Keep you on the.
Comes in the IV drip, man.
Yeah, it is an IV drip, but it's always that. But this reminds me of a question, right? Because I was listening to this girl, Brene Brown, and there's two questions that she asked. The second one is extremely pertinent to, I guess, what we're talking about. The first one is, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? Right? If you couldn't fail, what would you do? That's the kind of pretty standard one, right?
Jump off a cliff.
Okay. But yeah. But whatever career it is, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? And the second one though is what totally like, oh my God, I heard this recently. What's worth doing even though you fail? So even if you knew you were going to fail, what's worth doing, right? And so when I think back, I'll just reach back around, like everything that I've done or whatever, like that I'm pursuing, even though I fail, even if I fail, it's still worth it for me. I don't know. That's the way I feel about that.
Wait. Okay.
Like, because think about that. I mean,
The second question is like a lot tougher of a question. Like,
Yeah.
Like, because I can think of 100 answers for the.
Of course, the first one's
question.
easy, yeah.
The first one's really easy. The second one is like, what's worth doing even
if you knew you were going to fail,
you're
what's
gonna fail?
what's worth doing,
Like-
even if you knew you were going to fail.
And that has to be something that's just good for the universe. Like something like obviously charity work or like
No, but
helping
even if it's
people
something
or-
Good
that
for
you
you.
just, for me, it's I always take it as
Like
I
working
believe
out.
in it so much, and it's something that, like, just this thing in my heart that I get,
Right.
Not to sound foo-fooey, that I gotta keep pursuing it, even though like that North Star, I gotta keep pursuing it because even though I fail, even whatever, it's just, and maybe I'll change in 5 years.
It brings you joy.
Brings me joy.
That
Brings me-
can't be quantified.
Yeah, joy and pain.
Running a marathon, even if you get halfway through, you ran half a marathon.
Yeah.
It's like, it's still good for you. Like, it's gonna benefit you in some way. So this is
Dieting. That's it's just tough. Like really,
Yeah, think about that.
definitely not being an accountant.
Yeah. So that recently, after I heard that, that's actually kept me like, dude, this is something to really think about. And I asked certain people that question, and it's like it stumps a lot of people, especially people who don't have, like, they're not pursuing whatever it is that their dream or
like-
their whatever.
Well, I feel it's like we're all doing that right now in some form or fashion,
Yeah.
right? There's one thing in our life that we're doing that we're probably going to fail at, but we're doing it, right? But then like quantifying that and putting a label on it, be like, am I doing this even though I know that I'm probably going to fail?
But it's also like the whole thing about success failure. It's like how people measure it is different. Like
So we're kind of doing this podcast YouTube channel. It's kind of like success and failure. I mean, it's a shot in the dark if we get like how many,
But we're doing it with our friends, so it's.
doing it.
I think it's
great.
fun. Like I think definitely this is good.
I interrupted you.
No. That was actually like a really good kind of segue. But yeah, I think this is fun,
Right?
and it's valuable on its own merits.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, speak of the devil, this podcast is exactly that.
But yeah, let's actually move to our cool thing to share with each other. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
You want to go first?
He's already digging for your phone.
Downstairs in the
I wrote
lobby.
it down.
Dan was like, I gotta fucking.
I haven't installed this yet, so
I got mine right now. I can go.
Let's go, Eric.
go
Go
ye.
first.
Go ye.
So I think the coolest thing that I've figured out is like I've never really like thought about what I've been eating and everything every day, right? So I downloaded this new app called MyFitnessPal, right? And it's like through Under Armour, it's free, but you can log your
Thought I was your fitness.
everything goes on the day, and you can scan food. It's really simple, and it'll count your calories for you. You can log in your exercise and everything, so you can kind of keep track on like what you're doing, your daily activity. Because like, when you get older, like when we were like playing, we worked out every day. It was not that was the basis, right? But if you don't work out every day, there's other ways that you can maintain and
Did anything surprise you?
It surprised me honestly how many calories were in food. I had no idea. Like now, like looking at stuff, I'm like, wow, okay. Like if I have that chocolate bar, there's like 1,000 calories in it, and then it's like, oh, if I go and run on a treadmill for an hour, I'm only burning 200. So it's like, wait, so hold on, I got to run for fucking 5 hours to burn off a chocolate bar. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But it never made sense to me before because I never thought about it. But yeah, it's kind of cool because like basically like it comes down to discipline, right? If you don't even have the discipline to write down what you're eating in the day, like how are you going to lose weight? Or like if you don't have the discipline to go to the gym, how are you going to like...
Yeah, or even if you don't keep track of your finances, how are you going to do it? If you don't keep track of whatever, if you don't measure it, if you don't measure it,
finance app, right?
Yeah.
I think all that stuff. It's kind of a cool thing to like help you with discipline.
Yeah.
John does.
Yeah, I talked about that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Anyone
that's
else?
my thing.
Okay, that's great.
I got something that's gonna
rock our world.
Perhaps rock your world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you read my mind.
Yeah, man.
Fire, Mr. Sandrin. And for any of you out there that has a sub 2010, 2012 automobile that doesn't have Bluetooth, but you really want to have all the features like linking your phone with CarPlay and stuff, I want to show Dan so you can get his...
And please send this to me.
Would this be your dash on your Audi Q7? Would that be your dash?
That looks exactly like my car.
Dash. And so this right here is basically a wide screen. You replace whatever module you have in there with a fully touch screen, wide, super 1080 screen.
And it's like an all-in-one
All-in-one, dude.
And I just connect it to my phone.
We can install it. You just pull your stuff out, plug it in, you're done.
We need to do this. We actually need to do this.
Yeah. Android makes it. It's an Android platform. They got like 10, 12-inch wide screens.
That's cool, man.
And here's the thing. You can buy it or go to a dealer, but if you buy it on Alibaba Express, you can save like 50, 60%.
AliExpress.
Look at that.
Okay.
Jack Ma. All right.
If you're going to buy it from China, buy direct.
So mine's like super simple. It's just a Google Chrome add-on. But I think this might be groundbreaking because lately I've been watching a lot of YouTube. Like it's just like you can't avoid it. And I fucking get so annoyed with the ads.
Bobby.
And the ads are getting more smart. Like you can't skip all the ads now. Some of them you have to actually watch the full 30 seconds. So I was going to just pony up and pay the $10 a month and get the YouTube Premium. But then my buddy put me on to the ad blocker, and it's free, and it's uBlock Origin. It's just an extension you put in your browser, and then you never have to watch those annoying ads again. So you're
Even though
basically
you're watching YouTube.
While you're watching YouTube, you just put it. You watch YouTube through your browser.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they have one that you can actually like a VPN. It controls your old phone.
Can we make this into a commercial?
Like please, uBlock Origin. If you guys listening,
uBlock Origin.
But I think that's really cool because think about how much time you spend, like cumulatively in your year watching these 5-second ads.
Oh, dude,
it probably adds up to like a year of your life.
YouTube annoy you? Do you sit back and watch ads that just piss you the fuck off?
Well, try the ad blocker from.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, that's cool. A free thing that you don't have
You know
to
what's the
pick with
worst?
thing.
I listen to shit. I listen to YouTube while I'm in the shower, right? So then when an ad comes on, I can't fucking change it. What pisses. So I hear the entire 3 minutes of a commercial, and I'm like, oh.
But I'm telling you, John, some of them don't have the skip option. A lot of them, it's like 5 seconds and you can skip. Some of them nowadays, you got to listen to the full 30 seconds.
15 seconds or
whatever.
So now they double dip you with the next commercial after that.
Yeah, it's like sometimes 2-3 firebomb commercials.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right, so mine. Are you done?
That's it.
That's a really cool thing. Mine is it's a podcast. It's called the Chameleon Podcast, right? It was a 10-episode show. It's about some dude from some Indian dude that was from Indonesia, Indian guy who's from Indonesia that ended up scamming a bunch of not high level but mid-level actors, stuntmen, people that work in the film industry, like hundreds, even thousands of them, to use their own money to fly to Indonesia, spend a little money or whatever, just little things. He'd lie. Actually, it was a dude, but dude sounded like a girl. And he could change his voice to sound like all sorts of people.
Wow.
So
Voice phishing.
Yeah, dude, it's just crazy, all the web of bullshit that one person whoa.
He's the one who's doing he's hosting the podcast?
No.
Oh.
So the podcast kind
about
of was
him.
trying to find who this person was. So interviewing people victims, and then eventually that led to people who were investigating because this person acted like, this chameleon acted like he was different powerful women in Hollywood, right? Like I forgot Zack Snyder's wife. He acted like he was, I forgot her name, Julie Snyder or something. He acted like he was that girl. He acted like he was all sorts of different people saying, hey, I have a movie. It's some kung fu masters shooting in Indonesia. I want you to scout, whatever. And then so they'd fly over, talk on the phone. Some driver would drive them around. But it's all the web of deceit and bullshit.
But how did he scam? How did he get money? So he gets them to fly to Indonesia.
So that's the funny part. It's not like he was making
He's
a
just fucking
shitload of
with
money.
them.
Yeah, he's kind of fucking with people. And anyway, just listen to it, Chameleon Podcast. It's actually pretty interesting.
Make a movie on that.
Yeah. I'm sure people are flocking to. Yeah. Bobby, what's your?
I wonder if anyone's bought the movie rights.
I'm sure they are. I guarantee they are. Yeah.
I finally sat down and binge watched. What's it? The Queen's
Gambit. Yeah.
Nice.
I liked it. I finished it too.
I don't know why. I just like had a second, or like usually I don't get into new shows because I
It's
just
good.
don't have time.
It's delicious.
But I figured, I looked at it. It was like, oh, it's only like 7 episodes.
Seven,
Or
yeah.
something. It's like, maybe I'll just watch one episode and then just watching the whole thing and get any sleep. But yeah, I remember I used to actually love chess in high school. And so I know the show has nothing to do with chess, actually. You don't learn anything
No.
like how to play, but
You
it
don't.
just like brought back that like kind of like nostalgia of why I even loved chess when I was younger.
Let's play. I play chess like nonstop now since watching that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on chess.com all the time. Let's play.
I'm down to play.
I need a chess partner. We can all get accounts and we can play each other.
Okay,
That's
I'll
great.
sign up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, that's it for today on the Second
Yeah.
Ring Podcast with Dave, Eric, Dan, John, and the sexy
Just
Bobby
say
Choy.
sexy.
All right,
Just say-
sexy
yeah.
Bobby Choy.
Yeah.
We know he's
Yeah,
talented.
we know he's sexy.
Sexy Bobby Choy. All right, guys, goodbye.
See you next week.
Later. Peace.